Hi, thank you all for being here today. We're here at our third Thursday, one of our newest individual members with Nafi. We just wanted to thank Tidewell for hosting us today. And we'll go right into some of the programs that Tidewell has. And I know for myself, Tidewell was very instrumental when my grandfather was ill and he passed away. And it really took us on a personal journey. We had definitely support there. We had all walks of faith there at all times up until the point that he transitioned. And so I'm very thankful for the care that he received and then how they really treated our family. So thank you for hosting and having us. I'm going to start to my left here. If you could just go around and introduce yourselves.
Well, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence today. My name is Nafi Cunningham, and I'm the director of My Life, My Choice, which is one of the programs here we have at Stratum Health System. And Stratum is the parent company for Tidewell Hospice. So the program that I do is not just for hospice patients, but it's for the entire community, and I'll get more into it in a little bit.
Awesome.
I'm excited to be here. My name is John Murrell Jr. I'm an executive team member.
Hello, good evening. My name is Lorenzo Carswell. I'm an executive team member as well. Also the Small Business Executive Officer of the Black Chamber of Commerce, Manasota Black Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad you're all here. My name is Mollie Thomas, and I am the Community Relations representative for Tidewell for Manatee County.
Awesome. So we'll just go ahead and dive right into some of this literature that you have here. Could you tell us a little bit? Because when you and I spoke on the phone, you kind of gave us an overview of Tidewell. People think of Tidewell as a transitional type house when someone is phasing out to the end of their journey to the end. But transitioning, I should say, is probably the most proper term. Yes. But you're saying that there's so many other umbrellas that fall up under the Tidewell house, yes. Right? Or hospice, I'm sorry.
Hospice. Of course, I think when most people think of hospice, they have that fear, definitely. It's like facing death, which in essence, most of what we do is help people who have advanced illness or facing end of life. But it is, I always ask people, would you rather watch your loved one suffer, or would you rather have your loved one have the support that they need to go through that process? And the wonderful thing about Tidewell is that it is not just about, medication and that's it, for that patient. It is a holistic point of view of caring for that individual and the family members as well. So, it's a difficult thing to go through, but why go through it alone? Why go through it without knowing, having any support at all? And so that's where we come in, and we want people to know there is this great organization, and we are celebrating 40 years of existence this year. So this is a big year for us. And so we want people who are not aware about the services to tap into the services and just broaden their horizon and know that all of these things are available to them, and they should just be able to use it without having that fear that, I'm giving up on my loved ones.
Right. Now, let's talk a little bit about the counseling. That was one thing that they offered our family. And so if you could just talk a little bit about that. And then the other thing is, people that enter hospice necessarily don't have to get rolled out of hospice. And,
that's right.
I've heard people leaving and walking out of hospice.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that's something to kind of look at, as you said, holistically. It just is support overall. It supports everyone within this whole process. And it's a team effort, I believe. That's what it feels like, a team, a partnership. So I really appreciate it.
Well, we have an amazing team, which is called the interdisciplinary team, and that consists of doctors, nurses, CNAs. You have the social workers, who are very important elements of your care as well. We have the grief counselors, child life specialists. We have very many therapists, whether it's music, pet, acupuncturists. There's just so many different people involved in it based on dietitians. So you got this team who's willing and ready to support the family and finding out your individualized needs.
Right.
Because what my family needs is very different than what Mollie's family's needs.
Right.
So it's people understanding that and saying, you know what, yes, let's see what we can do and how do we get help from Tidewell, and not to have that fear that you're giving up on your loved ones, like they said.
So let's go to the communication side of things. Yeah.
Pulling into the driveway.
Oh, you do? Okay. So we'll go over, do you have any questions to ask regarding Tidewell Hospice? You know, just, I know you kind of think of, you know, the end transitioning, so I know you want to, yes ma'am.
But if I can just answer to the grief counseling you
Right.
just mentioned, most people do not realize that we don't only support grief counseling for only our patients and their family members, but the grief is available to anybody in our service area, and it's absolutely free.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
And so it's not just about, you came into Tidewell and that's the only people we serve. No. Last year we served almost 10,000 people in grief.
10,000.
10,000
people in grief.
And that's cost about $1 million to run that department.
Wow.
And all of that is through philanthropy. And so
Wow.
people donate and we're able to have that. So it is not, we're not reimbursed by Medicare and Medicaid to have that service. But there's definitely a need in the community. And we recently also opened, and I want more people to be aware of, what we call Blue Butterfly. It's actually a grief center in Lakewood Ranch that was recently opened a few months ago, and it's to help the entire family. So if you have children between the ages of 5 to 18 and you've suffered a loss, whether it's grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, or even a sibling for that child, we are able to provide support for that family, and the kids have like a peer-to-peer counseling as well as providing the tools necessary for the parents to, manage their grief, but also help their children who are grieving.
Right.
So it's a wonderful program, and we've seen tremendous growth in that.
So let's talk about philanthropy. So that's one thing I think we as African Americans, a lot of us don't think about, and how does one give in someone's, in their loved one's honor? Let's talk about that, because I think that's something that I would definitely be interested in because of such great care that was provided to me and my family. And again, just the support and at no cost to us, So how can we give back?
Well, it's great that you asked that question. And what I want to mention is that if you have Medicare and Medicaid and private insurance, hospice is usually covered with your insurance.
Okay.
So people should not have that fear that hospice is expensive.
Okay.
But at the same time, there are a lot of services such as the grief and that are going to be covered by philanthropy. And sometimes when a patient comes to our service, the family member sees the value of what we do, and they want to give back, and they can say, well, in lieu of flowers, send donations to Tidewell.
Okay.
And we truly appreciate people who do that, and cannot do some of the services we do without that.
Okay.
And so you could do that. You could, people hold fundraising events on our behalf. So if you want an event, you have an event, and people will contribute towards that, and the funds come to us.
I like
People can do online donations or write a check. People could include us in their estate planning as well. So we do get legacy, absolutely. Those are various ways that you can support us and us to continue to support other families. Because what folks don't realize is that we never ever turn anybody away.
No matter what.
So no matter what your situation, if you're financially unable to pay, because let's say you don't have Medicare, but you're not quite qualified for Medicaid yet, or you're going through that process of Medicaid, or whatever the situation may be, you live under a bridge, under a tree, you're homeless, whoever needs our services, we'll figure out a way to service you.
Wow.
No, I was just gonna say this touches home for me because even though I'm from Tampa, my mom was passed away in hospice, and so it's good to hear other services that I didn't hear about. And she was there for about 2.5 weeks before she passed away. And do you all provide the service like memorials or services such as that? Because my mom received. They allowed us to have a memorial for her at the hospice
At the
center.
hospice.
Yes.
I mean, some of, like, we have like memorial walkways and people can place bricks,
Okay.
and things of that nature, in our facilities. Some of the facilities that we have, like the ALFs, we'll go and do a memorial over there as well to honor those patients or people who lived in those facilities as well. So
Right.
there are various ways we keep on giving back and getting people involved and just, honoring your loved ones because, it's very, I mean, losing a mom, I'm sorry to hear that, but it's a difficult process and we want to keep supporting you through that
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, in addition, I also seen something that you had in here in reference to pregnancy
Yes.
and the loss of a child.
Wow.
I thought that was like great for providing.
Let's expound on that.
Yeah.
That's, I didn't even
Oh, yeah.
think about.
Yeah, I mean, folks normally have this misconception that only hospice is only for those people who are like 89, 100, you're old and terminal. But we unfortunately service everybody.
Mm.
We have a pediatric section where we have children who are in hospice. And we do have, and this is the flyer that he's referring to, that, some people do go through pregnancy and they do lose their child or.
So you offer that grief counseling for them as well.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
Wonderful.
amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people know about that.
Exactly.
That's something that some people just deal with that on their own.
On their own.
And
And
this
it's
is-
so difficult. Yeah.
And
yeah.
this is something that they don't have to deal with on their own.
Mhm.
This is support, and as you stated, it's free and no one's turned away.
Absolutely.
So let's go right into your communications role. Tell us a little bit about
Well,
that.
actually, what I do is I go into the communities, I go into the different agencies, and I educate the public in regards to these services, because as you stated, that most people don't know about the other service. They know about hospice, the aspect of that, but they don't know that it also includes these other services. So my job is to go in to the community and make sure that our community, all communities are educated and know about these services and know how to navigate and access those services.
Right.
And it's wonderful because I can tell you that no matter where I go, if I have on my name tag, I'm always hearing a testimony about how great Tidewell was. Because when we go in, we don't just encompass the patient, we also encompass the family as well.
Absolutely.
And we're concentrating now on the quality of life when the quantity is no longer there.
That's good.
And the family is so appreciative because with everything that they have going on, they don't have to worry about this thing.
Right.
They just want to spend time with their loved one and make those memories and enjoy that time that they have with them.
That's good. That's good. Let's talk a little bit about, I saw the pinning, the ceremonies where they have the pinning. Let's talk a bit about that, and then right after that, let's talk about how many hospice houses you have throughout the Manatee, Sarasota area.
So the pinning that you're referring to, it's called honors. And we know that veterans, especially those older veterans who've been to war, they need special attention.
Right.
And so these pinnings are our way of saying thank you for your service, as acknowledging their sacrifices and that what they've done for us, and that we are able to enjoy our freedoms and the access that we have today. And so at the end of life, we just take the time to say thank you and recognize them, recognize their spouses as well, because they support the family while the veterans are away. So it's a great way to have closure for them, to acknowledge what maybe they might have been bearing for years, and for also an opportunity for their loved ones to even hear stories they haven't heard before. So some of the things, if you've never been part of that, it's a very emotional process to be part of, and we do it for our patients, but sometimes we also go in the community around certain holidays like Veterans Day or Memorial Day and things like that, where we go in the community and form a ceremony, do a ceremony, and thank those veterans who served us.
Wow.
So it's just an absolute great thing to be part of.
Tell us about how many houses you have throughout the Manatee, Sarasota area.
Well, we have 8 houses. We're located in 4 counties. We are in Manatee, Sarasota. We are also in DeSoto, and we're also in Charlotte County.
Oh, wow. So the tri-county area.
Yes. Our newest and state-of-the-art hospice house is actually in Lakewood Ranch, and it's over office standards.
Okay. Is that the one that everyone was trying to get
Yes.
to?
Yes.
That's the reason why. It's state of the art, right?
Beautiful. All of our houses are beautiful.
Yes, it really is.
Yeah.
Very well
Yeah.
kept.
Yeah.
Definitely, I would say that.
Yeah, and I hope to give you an opportunity for those of you who haven't
Yeah.
seen it to
Yeah, I think that'd
give
be
you a
great.
tour later on. And so just you see, most people, what you will hear, they want to die in home. Nobody wants to be in a hospital setting. And so this allows you to get the great care of the hospital, but in a home-like setting. If you see some of these facilities, it's very comfortable, it's cozy, it's accommodating because, it's inviting to.
So it's
having
intentional
big-
that
It's
that's.
intentional
Yes. Right,
to,
okay.
to receive families, and you have rooms where, you have a whole bunch of family members surrounding
Yeah.
you, and like you said, quality of life is really important at this point. So we want to encourage families to take advantage of that, the space that's provided.
So in closing, is there anything you would like for our broader audience to know in closing?
Well, I think we've pretty much have covered everything, but I think what I would like for people to take away today from this interview is to know that Tidewell is here. I know that people don't like to talk about that last quarter of life that they're walking through, but it's something that we all at some point are going to have to address. And again, what Tidewell does is probably what your hospitals and some of your